Beloved children, I see every heavy breath you take when a new day arrives, but your heart remains burdened. When your weary feet must still press on along rugged roads full of challenges. I know there are nights when you cannot sleep, not because of any noise outside, but because of the sighs of your soul within. You have prepared, you have prayed, and you have hoped that the storms would subside so you might find peace. You have done everything you knew to do, listened to my word, walked by faith, and sown seeds of faithfulness. Yet now, as the storms still rage, a question may have begun to stir in your heart. Father, I've tried my best, but why does it still feel like too much to bear? Let me tell you this. My child, I do not fault you for moments of weakness. I do not withdraw when your tears fall. In fact, it is in those very moments when you feel the most depleted that I draw closer, not to demand a strength you no longer have, but to become your strength. Remember this, I did not choose you because you were strong. I chose you because I love you. And in that love, my power is made perfect in your weakness. What you are walking through is not a sign of abandonment. It is the evidence of a divine preparation. I am parting seas before you. I am about to do things no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no heart has imagined, but it must be in my timing and in my way. So, my beloved ones, this is not the time for fear or hesitation. This is the moment for you to look up, not at your circumstances, not at your limitations, but at me. Do not let the rising waves blur the vision of your faith. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the still, powerful voice of heaven. This is the very hour when you must anchor your soul in my promises that I will never leave you, and that I am the God who still moves even in the quietest of seasons. I know you have walked through times where everything seemed delayed. But child, delay is not denial. And what I am preparing to release will not be a temporary fix. It will be a miraculous provision, complete, on time, exceeding your expectations, and from heaven itself. I do not merely want to help you survive the storm. I want to use the storm to reveal my glory, so that when others look at you, they will have no doubt that it was I, your Lord, who intervened. Therefore, my children, stand firm, even if your heart trembles. Let faith take the place of fleeting feelings, though all around you may shift and change. I, the Lord your God, do not change. Walk through each day with hope, for what I have begun in you, I will bring to completion. Do not fear lack, for I am your provider. Do not fear loneliness, for I am always with you. Do not fear failure, for I have seen every step ahead of you and still called you my beloved. End of 4. I am about to do things that only those who believe will be able to see. Doors that seemed forever closed will swing open. Dry fields will crack open with springs of living water. Weary hearts will be filled again with the breath of life and the joy of heaven. But you must believe not because your situation has changed, but because you know the one who holds authority over every situation. Trust in me, my beloved, not only in the easy moments, but especially in the hardest, because that is where true faith is revealed. Let your heart rest in the assurance that I am working, even when you do not yet see the results. Let gratitude rise, not because everything is finished, but because you know I am moving, and I never break a promise. You are not alone. I, your Father, am guiding your every step, and what I have promised, I will fulfill miraculously, unexpectedly, and unmistakably from me. In this chaotic world, where worth is too often measured in numbers, possessions, or fame, I come to remind you of an eternal truth that will never fade. Your value is not in what you have, but in who you are, the one I have wonderfully created. While the world may judge you by the car you drive, the house you live in, or the digits in your bank account, I, your Father, look deeper, purer, eternal. I look into your heart, your faith, and the radiant light in your soul that no money can buy and no world can comprehend. I have seen you quietly share your small portion with others even when you yourself had little. I have witnessed the silent nights where you prayed not for yourself, but for others to be healed and restored. I have heard the sighs the world never hears, the sighs of a faithful heart that continues to trust me, even with empty hands. That is the kind of wealth heaven honors. That is the treasure that moths cannot destroy, time cannot erase, and that I will never overlook. Child, do not let temporary lack cause you to question your eternal worth. You are not a figure in a ledger, not a failure just because you don't have enough. In my eyes, you are a treasure, not because you have it all together on the outside, but because you carry within you a heart that loves, that humbles itself, that feels compassion and gives sacrificially. It is when you give, even when you're lacking. When you lift your head, though life presses you down. When you keep walking in the light of faith amid surrounding darkness, that is when you live a life richer than any who dwell in palaces of gold, yet carry empty souls. I do not measure your success by what you accumulate, but by how you face loss. I do not credit you for what you have built with your hands, but for allowing me to build in you a steadfast heart through seasons of difficulty. Success, in my eyes, is not having much, but keeping a pure heart in the midst of lack. It is not never falling, but rising again with renewed faith, not the absence of tears, but the courage to weep before me with the honesty of your soul. You are my most treasured possession, not because of what you own, but because you are a being into whom I breathed the breath of life, chosen, beloved, and held with unconditional love. Do not let the lies of the world steal your joy when you don't have what others do. For there are things only those who have little can truly grasp: deep gratitude, simple joy, silent sacrifice that seeks no recognition. These things, though small in the eyes of man, are precious jewels in heaven. My beloved child, I do not look at your wallet, I look at your generosity. I do not look at your titles, I look at how you treat the weak. I do not gaze at your achievements or awards. I see every moment you resisted temptation when no one was watching. Every time you chose forgiveness over resentment. Every moment you did what was right, even when it cost you. You are mine, not because you are wealthy, not because you are skilled, but because I love you, and that love does not waver, even when you fail, even when you are empty-handed. Do not think I am distant in your lack, for it is precisely in those moments that I am closer to you than ever, reminding you that true riches are not held in your hands, but in your heart. That real treasure is not stored in vaults, but found in your relationship with me. Lift up your head, my child. Your purse may be empty, but if your heart is full of faith, you are richer than a kingdom. Keep loving, keep sharing, keep walking, not because you have enough, but because I am enough for you. And one day, when you look back, you will see that those dry, barren days were the very ones in which I planted seeds of faith, courage, and imperishable wealth in you. You are my legacy. No one can steal you, and no circumstance can reduce your worth. My beloved children, let me share with you a truth that only hearts listening with faith can fully comprehend, even in the howling storm. there are hidden blessings carried on the wind. Right now, in eyes weary from worry, you may see only shrinking numbers, growing bills, unfinished plans, and dreams that seem to slip away. You may feel as if your world is collapsing, that the stability you once trusted is now fractured. But I say to you, do not only look at the storm, learn to hear my voice in the wind. For in what appears to be your most desperate season, I am clearing the path for your greatest miracles. I know your panic is real. I do not ignore the daily burdens you face. But I also know what you do not yet see. This is not the end. It is only the opening page of a new chapter. I am writing a chapter where you will not just survive, but be reborn with greater courage, stronger faith, and a heart more open than ever. This financial crisis does not define your future. It is merely the catalyst by which I will reveal a provision from heaven that surpasses all calculations, all logic, and all human capacity. I do not promise that you will always have material abundance, but I promise that I will never leave you. And there are precious truths revealed only in seasons of lack, that I am your source, not your job. That true peace does not come from the bank, but from my presence, and that what no one can ever take from you, faith, love. The hope is your real treasure. You may not yet see my hand at work, but trust that I am making a way, not by adding more, but by removing the things you've depended on, so you might learn to lean fully on me. When your material pillars collapse, it is then you will realize that your spiritual foundation is stronger than all else. When you have nothing left in your hand, you will discover that I, your Father, am everything. And from that empty place, I will pour out a provision beyond expectation, a job offer, an unexpected door, a miracle that defies explanation. A comfort money can never buy. I do nothing without purpose. Every gust of wind carries intention. Every shaking holds opportunity. If you learn to see with the eyes of faith, you will understand that what is taken away is only making room for something better to be given. And what looks like loss today will become a testimony tomorrow. Remember, there has never been a drought without a coming rain, and never a faithful soul whom I have not provided for miraculously, timely, and with overflowing love. So, my children, do not let temporary lack blur your eternal vision. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the still, powerful voice of my Spirit within you. Stand firm, not on what you have, but on the one to whom you belong. Live not by what you see, but by what your faith knows for sure. For in this very moment, when all is shaking, I am building an unshakable faith in you. And from that place, provision will flow unceasing, abundant, limitless, because it does not come from the world, but from me. Look back to the times you thought you couldn't make it. See how I upheld you. And now again, I will do the same, but in a new way. Deeper, clearer, for I have never stopped loving you, never stopped caring, and never failed to provide not just for your survival, but for your flourishing, so you might stand strong and shine as light for others in their own storm. So lift your head. Do not measure the future by today's darkness. Measure it by the light of my word. Keep a grateful heart, even when the fridge is not full, even when the wallet is thin, because you know I am moving. And prepare your heart, for you are about to witness a new season of provision, a season where my grace will pour down like rain, not only meeting your needs, but making you a blessing to many others. My beloved ones, remember, the storm is not the end. It is only the opening page of a faith journey written in miracles. And I, who began a good work in you, will carry it on to completion. Beloved child of mine, in every moment when you feel most alone, most lost, when it seems that no one can truly understand the ache within your heart, remember this: I have never left your side. I do not sit on a lofty throne, indifferent to your tears, nor do I turn my face from your cries in the dark of night. I am not a distant God who merely observes from afar without intervening. On the contrary, I am a Father who descends, who stoops down, and who walks into the very circumstances you are facing. I am not intimidated by the heat of the fire, nor do I retreat from the storms of rage for wherever you are. There I am. When you step into the furnace of sorrow, I do not push you in and watch from the outside. I step in with you, just as I was with the 3 friends of Daniel in the blazing flames. I am also in the fiery trials of your life. When you feel like you are about to drown in the whirlpool of anxiety, I am the outstretched arm lifting you up. I never promised that the sea would always be calm, but I did promise that I am the one who commands the winds and waves to be still. You do not need to fear, for the one who created the sea is in the very boat that feels like it is about to sink. My child, I know there are times when everything feels so chaotic that you begin to wonder if anyone is truly in control. But I assure you, nothing that happens is outside my permission and loving plan. Not even the fiercest wind blows beyond the boundary I have set. Even when everything within you trembles, I remain the unshakable foundation beneath your feet. When your eyes cannot see the way, let your faith lead the way. Let your trust in me be the anchor of your soul in the midst of the tossing waves. I see how hard you've tried to stay strong, how you've braced yourself just to stand when everything around you seems to be falling apart. I know there are days when just opening your eyes feels like a victory, and I want you to know this: you don't have to be strong alone. I never expected you to battle the world by yourself. I do not watch you fall. I am the very arm that lifts you up. While you think you are walking alone, the only footprints left in the sand are mine, because I am carrying you through this path. Let me be your peace in the chaos. Not a peace that comes after the storm, but a peace that transcends circumstances. A peace that does not depend on what your eyes see, but flows from my presence. When you learn to pause within and simply whisper, "Father, I trust you," it is in that moment that fear begins to flee. For faith, even as small as a mustard seed, when placed in me, can move mountains and calm the raging seas. You do not need to have all the answers to be at peace. You only need to know that I am holding your hand, and that hand has never trembled. Never let go of anyone who placed their trust in me. When the waters rise, do not panic, for I am the one who walks on water. When the winds howl, do not be afraid, for I am the one whom the wind obeys. When everything collapses, lift your eyes, because I am the unchanging one, your eternal refuge through every season. Do not let the whispers of fear be louder than my voice in your heart. The world may say you're not enough, that you're lost, that you're failing, but I say you are a warrior of light, a child of the King who never loses. You are not abandoned, not rejected, not forgotten. You are kept, you are loved, and you are covered by mercy and kindness that are renewed every morning. Beloved child, no matter what happens, remember this: I will not give up on you, not because you always do right, but because I always love. Not because you are good enough, but because I am good. When you fall, I do not withdraw. When you doubt, I do not condemn. When you are weak, I come closer. My love does not waver with the seasons of your life. It stands firm like a mountain through every storm. So take heart. Do not let fear lead you. Let faith be your compass. Let my presence be your first refuge, not your last resort. And as you walk with gratitude, even if tears still fall, I will turn every step into a living testimony of the faithfulness of a God who never abandons his children. I am with you, not only in the sunshine, but also in the thunder, not only in your victories, but even in what feels like defeat, not only at the end of your journey, but in every present step. And that is why you no longer need to fear, because I am your Father, and you forever are my beloved child. My dear one, I see you standing at what seems to be the very end, when all that you once held is slipping from your hands, when every door appears shut, and there seems to be no glimmer of light left to cling to. I know you have counted your last coins, weighed every decision with a heart full of concern. But remember this, your true worth is not measured by what you possess, but by the heart you place in me. Just like the widow who gave only 2 small coins, yet surrendered all she had, you too are in a moment where your faith rises as a fragrant offering to heaven, not because of abundance, but because of your surrender and scarcity. You may think what remains in you is too little to make a difference, that your heart is too weary to keep believing. But I say to you, it is in the moment when you give what is left, when you choose to believe in the face of adversity, when you cry, Lord, I still trust you. Through tears, that is when heaven opens. That is when the miracle begins, not in the way you expect, but in the way I have prepared. You do not need much to please me. You only need a trusting heart, a heart that does not allow fear to take root, that refuses to be bound by anxiety, and that does not let present circumstances blur the hope you have in the one who redeemed you. I know these days are not easy. I know you may wake in the night with a racing heart, troubled by uncertainties, by unpaid bills, by looming unknowns. But my child, you are not in this storm alone. I am here with you in the tangled pages, in the heavy breaths, in every hard decision. And what you're facing is not the end of your story, but a turning chapter in the glorious narrative I'm writing for your life. This is a test of faith, of resilience, of trust in me, not so I can find out how strong you are, but so that you might discover the wonder I placed in you before the world even knew your name. What you're going through is not meant to destroy you, but to refine you like gold in the fire, like roots that grow deeper in drought to bloom at the right time. Some lessons can only be learned through suffering, gratitude when there's nothing left, humility when strength runs out, and true faith when my word is all you have left to hold. So, my child, do not let fear choke what I am doing in you. Fear will imprison your mind with futures that haven't even happened, but faith will pave the way for miracles even when there is no sign. You do not need to see in order to believe. You only need to remember that I do not change. Do not forsake. Do not break my promise. Just as I cared for that widow, I will care for you. Just as I saw your silent tears, I will dry them and replace them with joy, not a joy that comes from circumstances, but from my living presence in your heart. The uncertainty you face is not beyond my reach. I saw this trial long before it came, and I have prepared you to walk through it not by your strength, but by my power. You will not be crushed. You will not be buried. You will not be defined by what you've lost, but by the one you hold on to. And I promise you this, you will come out of this trial with brighter eyes, a stronger heart, and a deeper gratitude than ever before. What you learn in this hardship will become the unshakable foundation for seasons of abundance ahead. You are being prepared not just to survive, but to become one who lifts others when they walk through similar valleys. Your pain today will be oil for healing others tomorrow. And you will see, not a single moment in this journey has been in vain. Not one tear has been wasted. All of it is being used by me to create something far greater and more glorious. So, my child, continue to believe. Keep giving, even if it seems little. Keep praying, even if you're weary. Keep walking, even if your steps are unsteady. I am walking with you. And behind the veil of this trial, a radiant horizon is beginning to appear. When you have nothing left, remember I still have everything. And it is in that place that you will see I am your provider, your keeper, and the one who never forgets you. You will not merely survive this trial. You will emerge from it transformed, restored, and filled with joy, knowing that your Father was there every step, every breath, right beside you. My beloved child, I know the storms of life don't always roar with thunder and lightning. Sometimes they creep in silently through heavy thoughts, sleepless nights, and those moments when you hold your head in your hands and whisper, Lord, how much longer can I endure? These storms are not just external chaos. They are the inner turmoil, confusion, and exhaustion that swirl deep within your soul. They may shake the very foundations you've built through years of prayer and faithfulness. But listen to me, the one who formed your soul, when I say this. No storm is meaningless. No trial is ever wasted. Because it is in the midst of the storm that I often perform my most wondrous works. You may see nothing but dark clouds, but it is there, in the darkness, that the seed of faith is being nurtured. You may hear nothing but the howl of life's winds. But even then, my whisper is speaking gentle, yet full of power. I do not promise to calm every storm the moment you pray, but I do promise to be with you in the storm, never leaving your side. For I am not only the God who dwells in peace, but the one who brings peace into chaos. There are things that can only be accomplished in circumstances that seem impossible. When every door closes, you learn to look upward. When all your plans fall apart, you discover that my plans far exceed your imagination. When you've exhausted every option and can do no more, you begin to trust the one who can do all things. And it is in that very moment when you reach the end of yourself that you stand on the threshold of a miracle. I do not ask you to be strong all the time. I only ask that you don't let go of my hand. True strength isn't found in the absence of fear, but in moving forward even when your heart trembles. Faith isn't the absence of questions, but the choice to trust even when you don't have all the answers. And miracles don't always appear with thunderclaps or lightning bolts. They often come in the quiet, a door opening unexpectedly, a peace that surpasses understanding, a long-awaited breakthrough arriving right on time. Do not think you are lost or forgotten. I am working even when you cannot see it. I am preparing you to receive what I am about to do. Like a potter shaping clay on the spinning wheel, I am forming you in the whirlwind of life, not to crush, but to mold you into something beautiful, useful, and reflective of my glory. When you walk through the storm, do not hang your head in fear. Lift it high in faith. Don't count the raindrops falling on your shoulders. Count the lessons being sown into your soul. Don't ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, ask, Father, what are you teaching me in this season? Because I assure you, every tear you've shed is being gathered like precious jewels. Every wound you've endured will become a testimony of my healing. And every struggling step you take forward will become a living witness to those who will one day need hope. Do you know? child, that sometimes the miracle is not the storm being calmed, but you being changed in the midst of it. It's you standing stronger after nearly collapsing. It's you saying, "I still believe," when everything tells you to doubt. It's you continuing to love, to forgive, to hope even when there's no earthly reason to. In those moments, you reflect my image more clearly than ever. And I, your Father, rejoice in that. So, my beloved child, do not be afraid to walk through the storm. Be courageous. Be strong not because you are able, but because I am your strength. Do not let the darkness of the moment cause you to forget that dawn always comes after the longest night. Do not let what you cannot yet see cause you to forget that I am always faithful. And when you stand firm through this trial, you will look back and realize you didn't just survive. You grew. You matured. And you were transformed in ways more beautiful than you ever imagined. For I am the one who performs miracles in what seems impossible. I am the one who turns tears into morning dew, pain into precious stones, and seasons of storms into seasons of blooming. And you, my beloved child, are standing on the edge of witnessing the miraculous. If only you do not give up. If only you keep walking. If only you keep holding my hand. And I promise you, what is coming will be worth more than everything you've lost. Just hold fast, for I never fail, and my love never withdraws. My dear child, there will be times when you feel like you've reached the very end of the road, faced with an unmovable wall in front of you, pressure closing in behind, and a heart overwhelmed with confusion and helplessness. You'll look around and see no escape. Every plan has failed. Every door has been shut. And in that moment, you might think, this is the end. But remember the story of my people long ago, standing at the edge of the Red Sea. They felt just as you do now, afraid, disperati, convinced they were about to be overtaken. But in that very place that seemed like the end, I did what no one could have imagined. I didn't remove the sea, nor did I lead them back. I opened a path right through the heart of the sea. What seemed like an insurmountable obstacle, the vast, dangerous, deep, became the very means of deliverance. The waters that should have drowned them stood still like walls, steady, unmoving, never crashing down. Not one person was left behind. Not one soul was lost in panic. Every one of them passed through on dry ground, while the enemy was buried behind. That was a miracle. My child, a work only I could do. No human could split the sea. No strategy could carve a path through hopelessness. Only my hand full of power, love, and purpose could do that. And today, I want you to understand this. If I did it once, I can do it again, and even greater still. You may be facing your own Red Sea, a financial crisis, an uncertain future, a breaking relationship, or a spiritual burden too heavy to carry. You may feel cornered, with nowhere to go. But I tell you, what you see as a wall, I see as a gate. What you see as an end, I see as a beginning. What seems to be blocking your path is actually being positioned by me to open a way that only you and I can walk through together. Sometimes I don't remove the obstacle right away, not because I haven't heard your prayer, but because I'm waiting for the perfect moment to reveal my glory in a way that leaves no doubt of my presence. If the sea had been calm and the path easy, would you have known it was me? But when I open a way no one expected, when I make the impossible possible, then your heart will no longer depend on circumstance but anchor itself in the one who is the source of all miracles. I do not promise that the journey will always be easy, but I promise that I will always walk with you, And with every step you take, I am preparing something greater than you can imagine. My hand not only makes the way, but also protects you as you pass through. I did not let the Red Sea close while my people were still crossing. In the same way, I will not let trials overtake you while you are still walking in obedience and trust. Remember, sometimes what is needed is not a new way out, but a renewed faith, a heart willing to step forward, even when nothing is visible beyond the waters ahead. A trust that dares to move, even without full understanding of the plan. It is in that very moment that you will see, I am not only the one who writes your story, but the one who shows up right on time to completely alter its course. Deliverance does not always come by me removing every difficulty. Sometimes, I turn the very thing you fear into the vehicle of your salvation. The sea was not dried up. It remained vast, terrifying, but I turned it into a pathway. And you, my child, will walk through what once seemed impossible. Because I go before you, making the way with my power and covering you with my love. Be courageous, my child. Do not be afraid of the wall before you. It may not be a hindrance, but a preparation. It could be the very place where I write a miracle that no one can deny. Do not retreat. Do not turn back. Stand still and look to me. And when the time comes, you will see, the sea will part. Not because you are capable, but because I am good. Not because you are enough, but because I am more than enough. You will not drown. You will not be left behind. You will not be defeated. For I am the one who saved them, and I will save you. What seemed like your ending, I will use to begin a new season of freedom, a new chapter in your journey, led by my very hand. And when you look back, you will no longer tremble at the sea, for it will no longer symbolize fear, but stand as a living testament to my faithfulness. My beloved child, let me remind you of an old story that still holds undiminished power to move the heart, the story that took place on the Sea of Galilee, where the raging waves and howling winds struck fear even into the bravest of men. It was there, in the dark storm and overwhelming fear of the disciples, that a miracle unfolded, a word spoken by the one whom not only people but nature itself must obey. The disciples of Jesus, those seasoned fishermen familiar with that very sea, could not hide their terror. The storm did not just stir violent waves. It awakened a deep fear within them. They had faced storms before, but this one, like the unexpected trials you face today, surpassed their strength, their reasoning, and their experience. In that moment, they turned to Jesus, who was sleeping peacefully on a cushion in the stern. His calmness bewildered them. They could not understand how he could rest amid such chaos. In desperation, they cried out, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing, my child?" In those moments when you too feel overwhelmed, when everything seems to be collapsing, when you pray and the heavens seem silent, I know you've wanted to cry out that same question. Father, do you not care? I'm drowning in sorrow. I'm afraid, do you hear me? But look closely at that story, and you will find an unshakable truth. Just because I am silent does not mean I am absent. My peace is not shaken by storms as yours is. I am not caught off guard by chaos as you are. For I am the one who created the seas, who commands the winds and summons the sun to rise. My stillness is not indifference, it is assurance. When I slept on the boat, it was because I knew that nothing could happen outside of my power or timing. And then, at the appointed time, Jesus stood not in panic, not in fear, not in confusion. He spoke just 3 simple but powerful words. Peace, be still. And instantly, the impossible happened. The winds stopped. The sea calmed. Silence fell so deep that the disciples were awestruck and asked, "Who is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" My child, that is the very one in whom you believe, the one before whom all circumstances, no matter how fierce, must bow. I know there are days when your life feels like that boat tossed by waves, struck by winds, overwhelmed by uncertainty. I know there are moments when it feels like I'm asleep to your pain. But, my dear child, believe this, I am always there. In your boat, in your mind, in every labored breath, I have never let go of your hand. And at precisely the right moment, I will rise and speak a word. Just one word is enough to transform your entire reality. You do not need to understand why the storm came. You do not need to explain why I have not acted yet. You only need to remember that you are not alone. You only need to hold on to faith, even if it's as small as a mustard seed, in the one who once calmed the seas and is still calming them today. Let the question, "Who is this that the wind and sea obey him?" become your confident declaration. He is my Savior, my Lord, the one who never fails. Okay, and then, when the storm has passed and you look back, you will see the true miracle is not only in the sea being stilled, but in who you've become. Your faith will be deeper. Your courage will be stronger. And you will walk forward with a trust that no circumstance can shake. For you will know, Jesus is not only the one who works miracles, he is the one who is right there in the boat with you, even when everything else is falling apart. So take heart. When you hear the winds howl, remember those three powerful words. When you feel the waves rise within your soul, close your eyes and listen to the gentle voice of the one who holds your destiny. Peace, be still, and you will discover in that deep stillness there is life. There is hope. There is a divine presence that never leaves you. I am your Father. I am in the boat with you, and you will reach the other side not by your strength, but by my spoken word. My beloved children, today I come not only to teach you how to pray, but how to surrender your whole heart, even in the moments when you feel you have no strength left to speak. I see you in this season of trial, where every door ahead seems shut, and every path feels uncertain. I see your attempts to carry on, to hold on to hope as fragile as a thread, only to feel despair silently knocking at the door of your soul. I hear even the words you have not spoken, the sighs, the silent tears, the moments of doubt in your own faith. But my child, it is in those very moments, when the burden feels too great, that I want you to learn a deeper truth. Prayer is not merely a way out of trouble, it is the way into intimacy with me, where miracles are not just external changes, but inner transformation. I do not despise your prayers, even when you think they are too weak, too broken, or too desperate. To me, every prayer, whether whispered through tears or uttered in silence, is the honest heartbeat of a soul reaching for me. And I have never turned away from those who come to me with honesty and humility. When you feel overwhelmed by things beyond your control, that is when you are perfectly positioned to witness my power most clearly. For if you could fix it on your own, you wouldn't need a miracle. But in your helplessness, you will see me move, not so that you will stand in awe of my power, but so that you will fall in love with my nearness, my kindness, and my unwavering faithfulness. I am the one who is not limited by time, not hindered by circumstances, not bound by what your eyes can see. There is nothing, absolutely nothing outside the reach of my power to change. Pray. My child, not merely with your lips, but with your soul. Speak to me not only of what you desire me to do, but of what you have not yet dared to admit, the hidden fears, the quiet disappointment, the wounds that have yet to heal. Let prayer be the place where you release every burden, not just a list of requests. Sometimes you don't need many words, just one simple plea. Father, help me, is enough for me to move. For what I listen for is not the eloquence of your speech, but the truth of your heart. And if you are walking through a season where every path seems to lead to a dead end, I want you to know that I did not bring you here to abandon you. At times, I allow you to explore every road of your own choosing, so that when you reach the end, you might look up and see that I have been waiting for you all along. I allow you to feel stuck, not so you will fall, but so you will fall into my arms and discover that in surrender, you find life again. The miracle you seek may not arrive in the way you imagined. It may not be loud, dazzling, or immediate. But believe this: if you pray, if you do not give up, if you hold on to even the smallest flicker of hope in the Almighty, then the miracle will come. Sometimes, the miracle is not the mountain moved, but the strength to climb it. Sometimes, it is not the storm disappearing, but the peace in the midst of it. Sometimes, the miracle is not in everything being resolved, but in your soul no longer being imprisoned by fear and anxiety. My child, do not think your prayer is too small to be heard, and do not think your situation is too great to be rescued. I am the Lord who parted the sea, turned water into wine, and called the dead to life. And today, I am still that same God. There is no situation too hopeless for my power to intervene, no heart too broken for me to restore, no day too dark for me to shine light and hope into it. So, my beloved ones, pray. Come to me, not only when your words are polished, but even when you feel empty. Know that my presence is not determined by your emotions, but by my unwavering promise. I am near to the brokenhearted. I hear the silent cries, and I act not only so that you might see a miracle, but so that you may know that your Father still loves, still holds, and still walks with you through every season of your life. Keep praying, my child, for when you pray, you do not only change the situation, you allow me to change you. And when you are transformed, the world around you begins to shift as well. That is the greatest miracle, the one that begins in a heart bold enough to believe, to hope, and to entrust itself to the Father in the most uncertain times. I love you. I hear you. And I will never be silent when my child cries out with all their heart. My beloved children, after all the comfort and promises I have given you, today I invite you to come closer, not through ritual, not through eloquence, but through a heart that is honest and open. I do not want you to come to me hiding your pain behind a forced smile. I am not looking for perfect prayers. I am looking for a heart willing to be real, because I am your Father, the one who saw you before you could speak. I know exactly what you are facing, and yet, even knowing all, I still gently invite you to open your heart, not because I need more information, but because you need the freedom that honesty brings. You do not have to pretend to be strong. You do not have to act like everything is fine when your heart is breaking. You are allowed to cry, allowed to ask questions, allowed to say, Father, I'm tired, and I will still listen without judgment, without distance, without disappointment. I am the one who understands the sobs you cannot put into words, the one who hears the fears no one else knows, the one who still embraces you when the world fails to understand you. So bring your circumstances to me, even the ones you're ashamed of, the ones you hope no one ever finds out, the dreams you've long thought dead. I never turn away a heart that dares to be honest. In this relationship of father and child, what matters most is not outward perfection, but true closeness. Like a child running into their father's arms after a fall. I want you to learn to come to me, not after you've patched yourself up, but while you are still hurting, confused, and trembling. I do not wait for you to fix yourself before you come. I come to you in your brokenness, so that it is my love that does the healing. I long to hear from you, not to fill my knowledge, for I already know everything, but because when you speak, you are inviting me in more deeply. When you tell me you're afraid, that is when I can bring you peace. When you say you've lost hope, that is when I can pour in new hope. When you admit you don't understand, that is when I can teach you to see from heaven's perspective. And when you tell me you need me, that is when I can most powerfully reveal the love and strength of a father who never fails. Believe this. My child, your weakness does not push me away. In fact, it is where I long to reveal my strength. I do not need you to appear okay in order to approach me. I need you to come, even if your heart is heavy, your faith is unsure, and your questions remain unanswered. It is there that I will work. I will wipe your tears. I will lift you up, and you will no longer see yourself as a failure, but as a beloved child being restored by your Father's hand. If you are carrying a burden in your mind, a worry you can't shake, a wound unhealed, a memory that brings shame, or a future that makes you tremble, don't hold it in. Place it in my hands. Speak to me as you would to a loving father. You do not need a speech. You just need to be real, and I will be real with you. Be honest and you will find freedom in trust. Sometimes healing doesn't begin when your circumstances change, but when you finally speak to me about what you've kept hidden, when you open up, you are letting light into the dark corners. When you confess, you are allowing your Father to draw nearer, and when you surrender, you will feel your burden lift, not because it disappears instantly, but because it has been placed on stronger shoulders than yours. So, my child, don't be silent anymore. Don't pray lifeless prayers just to check a box. Speak truth. Tell me what brings you joy, what scares you, what you're unsure of, and what you secretly hope for. I am listening not just to answer, but to hold you in unconditional love. I don't come just to fix your problems. I come to walk with you through every season. And the most wondrous thing is not that I change your circumstances, but that I change you from within by the living presence of your Father. I love you not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. And there is nothing you could say that would make me love you less. In fact, when you speak with honesty, you are opening the door for me to love you more deeply, to heal you more fully, and to lead you to places you never imagined you could go. So, my child, present your situation not because I don't already know, but because I am waiting for you to trust me enough to let me in. And when you do, you will not only feel lighter, but you will experience a love that never gives up, a God who never leaves. My beloved child, I have heard the cry of your heart, seen every silent tear that fell as you whispered, "Father, I need a miracle." I see you coming to me, not in perfection, but in brokenness, with a faith that feels fragile, but still dares to draw near and ask. And, my child, those are the prayers unpolished, unscripted, but flowing from the deepest places of your soul that move the heart of your Father more than anything else. I know where you are, not just your physical location, but the very place where your soul now stands. I see every confusion within you, every dead end you've encountered, every dream you're holding on to with trembling hands. And I also know exactly what miracle you've been longing for, even before you speak it. I know, even when you hesitate to express it. I understand, because I don't just know about your circumstances, I am in the midst of them with you silently, patiently, and full of love. You ask for intervention, and I want you to know, I am not a distant God, deaf or blind to your cries. I am the God who draws near, the one whose voice alone can shake the heavens. When you ask for healing, know that I am the source of all life. No wound is too deep, no hurt too old, no loss too great that I cannot heal it. I am the healer of broken hearts, the one who binds up every wound, both the visible ones and the ones no one else sees. You pray for provision, and I remind you, I am the one who fed my people in the wilderness with bread from heaven and water from the barren rock. Your current lack is not a sign of abandonment, it is an opportunity for me to display my kindness and faithfulness. I don't just provide for your needs, I teach you to know that I alone am the source, not your job, not other people, not the systems of this world. You ask for breakthrough, and I want you to know, I specialize in making a way where there seems to be none. With me, hopeless is not in the vocabulary. What seems sealed I can open. What seems dead I can resurrect. What seems impossible, that is the very stage upon which I reveal my power. Not because I need to prove myself, but because I love you and want you to know I am always at work on time, in my perfect way, and I never fail. When you ask me to open doors that seem shut, know that sometimes I am the one who closed them not to punish you, but to protect you. And when the time comes, I won't just open the door, I will lead you into a new space with a more mature heart, deeper faith, and a gratitude made whole. The light you've asked me to shine into your darkness is not just to expose your circumstances, but to illuminate your heart, so you may see that the darkness has never been a place I abandoned you, but a place where I have trained you to be stronger, steadier, and more like me, my beloved child. I have not rejected your prayers. I hold each one as treasure in my heart. Every cry is music echoing in heaven. You trust me, and I honor that. Your faith doesn't have to be mountain-sized, even if it's as small as a mustard seed. When placed in me, it's enough to move mountains, to open paths, to awaken the miracle that waits ahead. I want you to know this: what you face today is not greater than my power. In truth, you're standing on the edge of something miraculous, something only I can do, so that when it happens, you will know for certain it was not luck or your own effort, but my mark clear, strong, and undeniable. I will act not because you deserve it, but because I love you, not because you always get it right, but because I am faithful, not because you understand the plan, but because you dare to believe even when you don't yet see. So, my child, continue praying earnestly, honestly, full of expectation. Keep believing that I will act not on your timeline, but according to my eternal wisdom. And when the miracle comes, whether it's an open door, an unexpected healing, a peace beyond understanding, or a change deep within you, will know that I was listening from the very first moment. I am your God, the one who makes a way where there seems to be none, the one who makes the desert bloom, the one who heals the brokenhearted. I have begun a good work in you, and I will complete it to perfection. Keep drawing near, Keep asking. Keep trusting, for I never turn away from the prayer of a beloved child who pours their whole heart into me. My beloved, after all the days you've endured with all the wrestling, the countless prayers, the silent tears, I am not asking you for more striving. I am not demanding more effort to prove your faith. I am not forcing you to appear strong when you feel weak. Today, what I invite you to do is one simple, yet profoundly powerful thing: rest. Not as surrender to exhaustion, but as true rest in the peace that comes from me, the one who formed you, who has kept you, and who is working on your behalf, even when you see no results. I know how easily your heart becomes anxious. I understand how your mind gets pulled into the whirlwind of uncertainties and unanswered questions. But, my child, in the midst of life's noise, I invite you to be still, that you may hear what I am saying. I do not speak in panic. I do not move in haste. I am the God of faithfulness and order, and I have heard your prayers. Not a single word you uttered has fallen into the void. Not a single sigh has gone unnoticed. I have seen it all, treasured it all, and I will respond in the time I have appointed. So, my dear one, do not let your heart be troubled. Don't let temporary delay convince you I am not working. Some miracles need time to grow in stillness, like seeds buried deep before they break through to the light. And so it is with the work I am doing in you, inside and out. It is still unfolding, even if your eyes haven't yet seen it. Let your mind turn to me, not to find all the answers, but to be filled with the peace that is not tied to circumstances. True peace doesn't come when life is easy. It comes when you know without a doubt that you are held by the one who never changes. I am He. I am your source of life. And I am the one who will keep your heart in perfect peace as you place your trust in me day by day, hour by hour, heartbeat by heartbeat. I don't just want you to believe I can, I want you to believe I am. I am moving, even now. As you read these words, the miracle has already begun to stir. The doors have started to tremble. The immovable has begun to soften. The dead ends are beginning to open. For I am the Lord who never breaks a promise. I have spoken, and I will fulfill. Your miracle is coming. It will not be late. It will not be delayed beyond the moment I have ordained. And when it arrives, you will know without a shadow of doubt that it is my hand. So, child, let your heart be still. Let faith replace fear. Let gratitude replace worry. I know you have waited long. I know you've walked through seasons so hard they seemed unbearable. But my dear one, it has not been in vain. Every tear you shed has been a seed of faith planted. And the harvest is coming not by your strength, but by my faithfulness. I want you to rest, not because something has ended, but because something new is beginning. Rest is not passivity, it is a deep act of faith, to believe that I am working, to believe the miracle is drawing near, to believe that I am the God who is never late. When you sit down, when you stop struggling and let yourself fall into my arms, you will begin to feel my presence, gentle, yet powerful, like water flowing steadily, like breath in the darkness, like a whisper that says, I am here. And in that moment, your heart will no longer be confused. Your eyes will no longer be clouded. Your ears will no longer be overwhelmed by noise, because you will know the miracle is coming. And your task is not to chase after it, but to prepare your heart to receive it with rest, with faith, with a heart ready to say, Father, I trust you. Oh, for I am your God, the one who began the good work in you, and I will complete it. I don't abandon halfway. I do nothing halfway. and what I have promised I will fulfill. So, my beloved child, rest in me. Let your heart overflow with peace, for your miracle is coming, and it will arrive right on time, in the perfect way, just as I have ordained. Not early, not late, but perfectly, because I am faithful to every word I have spoken, and I love you eternally. Amen. As a child of God, you are never alone. He is always beside you, guiding you in every moment, reminding you to walk in faith and rest in His unfailing love. Follow and turn on notifications so you never miss a single word I speak from heaven. Amen.